ولا يحصي نعماءه العادون ولا يؤدي حقه المجتهدون والحمد لله الذي من علينا بمحمد صلى الله عليه وآله وبآله الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين واللعنة الدائمة على أعدائهم ومبغضيهم وغاصبي حقوقهم من ليلنا هذا إلى يوم الدين. صلوات محمد اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. Yesterday we discussed the reverence and showing of respect to the signs of God, what is normally known as Sha'airullah. We would like today to discuss another aspect altogether so that we are able to understand the meaning of Sha'airullah in the sign and how is a particular thing or a creation determined to be one of the signs of God. In this world, every one of us is in search of an ideal. We are in search of a person or a mode of thought, a code of conduct which will serve as an example so that we might follow. And this applies to all, whether we believe in any religion or we do not, whether we believe in Allah or we do not. Everyone, every human being on earth is in search of an ideal. If one is an atheist, he finds and searches and finally follows an ideal who was an atheist. And a philosopher among the philosophers on earth picks up one as an ideal and follows. This is a natural human tendency which cannot be averted because a man tries to be like someone. Unconsciously or consciously, whether he likes to admit it or not, his behavior, his action, his accent, his way of talking, even his way of walk and sitting and sleeping, and his times and his timetable, tries to be in accordance with a particular person whom he tries to follow, emulate, considers that as a hero, and then worship. This being a natural tendency which cannot be avoided, man in his search of an ideal tries to follow one whom he likes, whom he finds consistent and compatible with his own likes and dislikes. There human selfishness enters. Man would like to select one whom he finds to be meeting with the demand of his own nature and accordingly accept it. There is no chance given to that ideal himself or herself to act as an ideal and impose any influence. There is a presupposition before any acceptance. Allama Hilli is one of those great ulama that we have. He once asked his son, what would you like to be when you grow up? He said, my ideal, my hero is you, my father, because you are one of the greatest scholars of our time. None has preceded who can equal your intelligence, and Allah only knows who will follow to match your intelligence. So I wish I become like you. And Allama Hilli said that if you wish to become like me, then you are bound to become inferior to what I am. Because when we were discussing our ideals, we always tried to become like the disciples of Imam Jaffer Sadiq. When we tried to become like disciples of Imam Jaffer Sadiq, we came to stop where we are. And if you have decided us to become your ideal, you will definitely go lower than that. And everyone coming next to you will be on the lower rung of the ladder. Always try to have an ideal which is perfect. But a man, a woman is after all a selfish creature and creation, likes to follow him who meets with his demand. A dissatisfied person, economically deprived man, a poor man, let us say simply, would like to accept a philosopher, a thinker who would advocate for the poor and oppressed. And the rich and affluent and the politically powerful would like to follow an ideal which advocates power and rule of might. It was for this reason that while the tendency of craving for an ideal is paramount, there was a need to supply the ideal not from the human desire but from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is where religious leadership, divine leadership set in. The Quran says, وَلَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ. For you all, O Muslims, there is in the person of Rasulullah an ideal. Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is an ideal. Now whether it is Abu Jahl who is in search of an ideal, or whether it is Bilal who is in search of an ideal, whether it is Miqdad who is looking for one to follow, or whether it is Salman, whether it is Abu Lahab or Abu Talib for that matter, rich and poor all will look at the one who has been supplied by God. The ideal has come from Allah, not from human desire. Is it understood? If that is understood, then Karbala becomes very clear. It wasn't a fight for power as we are being told these days, that Hussein wanted the throne. He came out to fight Yazid because Yazid controlled it. And there was a fight of the two princes. One was killed, the other was victorious. And the Shias today are crying because they killed Imam Hussein and they are now repenting. The whole idea was that there is an ideal supplied by Allah whose name is Muhammad Rasulullah, and the whole ummah is supposed to accept him as an ideal. Whatever he says, acts, does, directs and guides is our life and code of conduct. Therefore, when that ideal is at stake or his teachings are put to danger, it is incumbent upon every Muslim, whether he is Hussein ibn Ali or he is Hur, Habib ibn Mazahir or Zuhair ibn Qayn, whether he was in Karbala or whether he is born later, it is the duty of him to sacrifice his life. Because he is sacrificing not for any mundane or temporal advantage, not for the worldly benefit which he would reap. He is sacrificing for the ideal. لَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ. Abu Sufyan, father of Muawiyah, grandfather of Yazid, became blind in his later days. Became blind in his later. Once he came to the mosque early, before Dhuhr, with his servant, and just as he entered the mosque, Adhan was about to be announced. Someone went on minaret and said Adhan, and of course in the course of Adhan he said, Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah, which was quite natural. He must say that, it is a part of Adhan. And the moment he said, Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah, I bear witness and testimony to a fact that Muhammad is the messenger of Allah. He asked his servant, because he was blind, is there anyone in the mosque? There was nobody there. People were still preparing to come. In one corner, there was one man whom the slave did not somehow notice. He was Imam Ali alayhi salam. But the slave did not notice. And looking around this way and that way, he told Abu Sufyan, there isn't anybody in the mosque yet. At that time, Abu Sufyan said, look at how Muhammad has arranged to perpetuate his name by including his name in Adhan. We thought and used to think that once he dies and he leaves no children except a daughter, the trace of Islam will be permanently obliterated and there will be no Islam. Let Muhammad live as long as he wants. He is not going to live forever, and therefore when he dies things will also die out. But it has not died. I have outlived Muhammad to hear Muhammad's name being announced on every minaret. At that particular moment, as he expressed his feelings, Imam Ali from his corner said, oh Abu Sufyan, your kufr has come out today, much as you wanted to hide it. But remember, the name of Muhammad in Adhan was not put there by Muhammad, it was put there by Allah, because he is an ideal you must follow forever. He is an ideal. He is an example. What happened was, although I might take a few minutes here and there, I'll finish within my time quota, that in the battles which were then fought, and the first and foremost battle, which was fought in Badr, with handful of people coming out to defend, very handful of people, few, with paucity of implements, very few horses, very few swords, very few spears. People coming there, and as they fought, and Imam Ali alayhi salam was fighting, in that battle, many elders of the mushrikeen were killed. The power of the opposition was totally smashed, because with the rising sword of Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam, one after the other died and were killed. And those who were supposed to be the stalwarts of Kufr, they died in the battle of Badr. With the death of those, the leaders, the followers of Kufr became shaken. But the grudge was there in the heart forever. And that grudge remained against Imam Ali till he himself was killed in 40 Hijrah. And the people who killed Ali ibn Abi Talib, even there said that we have taken revenge of the blood that Ali spilled on the battleground of Badr. Right? And Ali answered it. People used to tell him in his presence, on his face, Ali, we don't like you because you have killed our elders. And Ali used to say that, yes, I have, but not of personal grudge, but for the defense of the ideal of Muhammad. For the ideal of Muhammad, who has been sent by Allah. Ali never killed because he wanted to kill, just because he didn't agree with someone. Allahu Akbar. Malik Ashtar was one of the major fighters, always by the side of Ali ibn Abi Talib. Malik Ashtar once told Imam Ali, Ya Ali, today in this battle, I have killed many more than you have. In this battle, I have killed many more of the enemies of Islam than you have. And Imam smiled and said, Malik, it is not the number that you kill, it is the quality that you kill. You don't know what is happening, you simply oppose, confront and kill. But when my sword rises, because I am going to guard the ideal of Muhammad and Uswatul Rasul, it does not fall on any such head which is going to give birth to a Muslim in later years. Because this sword rises for the protection, not for the destruction. Right? And the same thing happened after the martyrdom of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. My young children and young brothers and sisters, remember that this was not a fight between the princes. It was for the protection of the ideology of Islam and the ideal personification in Muhammad. What happened was, immediately the family of Hussein ibn Ali, when it was brought in the court of Yazid after Karbala, what did Yazid say first? The moment Imam Hussein alayhi salam's beheaded head was brought before him on the plate, and the family entered without parda, as we know, with shackles and fettered hands. Who? The daughters of Muhammad and Fatima. And Yazid's first proclamation was, Ya layta ashyakhi bi badrin shahidu. I wish my elders of the Badr were here to witness how I have taken the revenge. So it was all through, from Badr up to Masjid Kufa, and from Masjid Kufa up to Karbala, and from Karbala back to Darbar-e-Yazid in Sham. All through, it was Muhammad fighting for the maintenance of the ideal of Islam, and Hussein represented Muhammad. Hussein was Muhammad in Karbala. He was there to save, not for his throne. If he wanted his throne, gentlemen, he would have definitely, if not sworn the oath of allegiance with Yazid, at least would have offered a hand of truce and divide the kingdom, and would have said, this is mine and that is yours. The Arabian kingdom would have been sliced into two, one for Hussein and one for Yazid. But that was not the question. Marwan had told Hussein ibn Ali, Hussein, why don't you agree upon a truce if you do not want to swear oath of allegiance? And Imam Hussein said, if I give an indirect acquiescence to Yazid by accepting him as one who can rule over Muslims, فَعَلَى مِثْلِ ذَلِكَ الْإِسْلَامِ السَّلَامِ. Then upon that sort of Islam there is a permanent salam. That means I cannot reconcile with that sort of Islam where Yazid is accepted even for a minute. Why? To say that because Yazid was a drunkard, a gambler, a debaucher, a fornicator, a personification of all vices and evil is partly right, but not the whole truth. The whole truth is this, that Yazid was out to destroy the ideal. Totally. Not only by his personal conduct, by propagation also. He was the one who said, Quran has said, Wailun lil Musallin. Woe up to those who pray. He did not recite the whole ayah. trying to tell the people that those who pray are the one whom Allah has cursed. He always recited half ayah. He is the man who said, who knows of the hereafter? Who knows of Qiyamah? He is the man who gave the dresses of ulama to monkeys in the court and brought the monkeys dressed as ulama to prove to the world that the ulama of deen are none better than these monkeys. He is the one who gambled. He is the one who drank openly. He is the one who disbelieved openly. Now, when someone comes out to destroy Islam, if you keep quiet, you are not Husayni. If I am afraid of my prestige, if I am afraid of my dignity, my acceptability in a society, my acknowledgement, my family and my wealth, the support of the rich, if I am worried about these things, and I would rather connive at the evils perpetrated against Islam and allow the things to develop as they do, then I am not Husayni. This is the reason why he said, Hal min nasirin yansuruna? Is there the one who will help us? When did he say? He said when none was alive. I asked Mullah, Abbas is no more with you and no is Qasim. You are asking for assistance when there is none left. Even Ali Asghar is not there. The answer is, you are asking me about the helpers and assisters. Those who will assist and help do not belong to this era only. After the day of judgment, as long as the evil of Yazid goes, there must be someone to counteract the evil, like Hussein ibn Ali. When Ali Asghar alayhi salam was killed and martyred, he compared his 6 months child, infant, to Naqa Salih. Naqa Salih. Salih was the prophet, and Naqa was the camel, she camel, which was brought there by Allah, and the people were asked not to kill and to apportion and ration water between themselves and that camel. But they killed the camel, and by killing the she camel, the whole community was destined to ruination. Quran says, فَكَذَّبُوهُ فَعَقَرُوهَا فَدَمْدَمَ عَلَيْهِمْ رَبُّهُمْ بِذَنْبِهِمْ فَسَوَّاهُ. Imam said, O Ali Asghar, you are no less than Naqa Salih. You are no less than the she camel sent to the community nation of Salih. That was min sha'airillah. Because they killed the camel, the whole thing was ruined. You are also min sha'airillah. That blood which trickled from the throat of Ali Asghar is sha'airillah. That blood which came out gushing from the chest of Ali Akbar is min sha'airillah. The pieces of Qasim's body trampled upon by the horses is min sha'airillah. The 2 hands cut off of Hazrat Abbas alayhi salam, they are min sha'airillah. The turban of Imam Hussein which came down on earth is min sha'airillah. If we understand that, that is from the piety of the hearts, what Allah says, وَذَلِكَ مِن تَقْوَى الْقُلُوبِ. وَالسَّلَامُ عَلَيْكُمْ وَرَحْمَةُ اللَّهِ وَبَرَكَاتُهُ.